right, good afternoon to each and every one of you. Thank you for attending our presentation this afternoon. It will be a joint presentation by Advance of EDF Group and Artelia. And before maybe jumping into the slides, let me introduce the three speakers. It will be a three-voice presentation, 25 minutes, with Mr. Guillaume Morisseau from Advance. He is the program manager for the design of pools of the EPR2 in Penly. With Michel Rochon from Artelia, he is the development manager of the nuclear sector within Artelia. And myself, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Artelia Group. So before diving really into the presentation, allow me to say a few words about Artelia. Artelia is one of the three largest engineering firms in France, with close to 9,000 staff working in France, half of the business in France, half outside of France, and more specifically on the nuclear sector. We have worked in this sector for more than 30 years, and we have between 200 and 300 staff working full-time on the nuclear activity. We also have a very strong focus on sustainable development, and we are very proud to be certified EcoVadis Platinum, which places us as in the top 1% of the 175,000 companies that are certified by EcoVadis. You can see here that we are a visual identity called Artelia Nuclear. It's not the Artelia logo. It's here to really crystallize the nuclear activity within Artelia. As I just said, we have worked in this sector for 30 years plus. And with this visual identity, we want to express very significantly that we want to capitalize on this knowledge, that we also want to combine the multidisciplinarity of Artelia. We are present in 5 different sectors, from buildings to industry and water, energy, and transport. So combining all these different disciplines with the program and project management of very large infrastructure projects, like the Grand Paris Express or the tunnel across the Alps between France and Italy, for example. So we are used to be involved in extremely large projects. And we are not, it's not just a marketing effect to launch Artelia Nuclear, but we are walking the talk. We are especially engaged. We started working on this major project for EDF with the acronym of NM1226, which is the basic and detailed design for pools, tanks, and sumps for EPR2 in Penly. So we will be focusing on that this afternoon. But of course, as you all know, this EPR2 project is part of a larger, you have to place it in the larger French context, so I won't be too long on this. But you know that 18 months ago, the French President Macron launched kind of a renaissance of the nuclear sector with the initiation of 3 pairs of EPR2s, plus potentially 4 additional pairs, with the objective to have the first ones commissioned in 2035. And this is, it may sound a little far, but it is an immense challenge to be able to reach that target in 2035. So the ambition is immense. It's a really great ambition, but we're also facing a lot of challenges. Challenges on the competence side, because as we all know, the whole sector has to simultaneously raise new competencies in the nuclear sector, in a sector that is also facing already a lot of tensions. Of course, this is also the energy sovereignty which is at stake, and I will pass the mic to Guillaume. We are facing a tremendous industrial performance challenge here, because it's all about meeting at the same time cost, the deadline, and the performance of what is a huge infrastructure and industrial project, which is to be able to commission and have the EPR2 in Penly started in 2035. So this is why EDF, and we are part of it at Artelia, have put a focus a lot on this collaborative engineering process. It may sound a little, simple and easy, but it's not at all. It's a way of working and managing a lot of different activities simultaneously to be able to reach the target in due time in 2035. So let's go into the details, and the floor is yours, Guillaume.
Thank you. Thank you, Benoit. We'll start with the beginning. You talk about industrial performance, well, on EDF, we developed a program, Excel program, shared with the GFN member to increase the performance and to target excellence on EPR2, especially in EPR2. So it's a 5-axis program based on knowledge management. The second part, it's manufacturing and assembly excellence. The third one is the supply chain involvement, sorry. And the fourth and the fifth, it's standardization and the importance of the governance of the project. So on the pool and tanks contract, we developed some tools, some collaborative engineering element that we use currently on the managing of the contract. And on the different slides you will see later, sorry, you will see that we highlight which of the axes, one or several, is directly linked to Excel program. Before to go on detail, I will maybe introduce a bit Advance. So Advance, it's a subsidiary of EDF and Framatome, is in charge. Advance company is in charge of the EPCC for Nuclear Island on new project. For the project we are interested in here, it's EPR2. So the EPCC, basically, well, there is a part directly linked to civil engineering. And for EPR2 on civil engineering scope, we have 3 different contracts, and of course we have Advance. I will maybe jump on the different contracts. There is an NM1220, the civil work designer. There is a NM1226, the pool and tanks designer, and there is a NM2201, the constructor. So there is stakeholders difference, and the most difficult part of the job is to deal with the interfaces we have currently on the different stakeholders here. So to address this issue, we developed a collaborative engineering sequence. What is it exactly? There is 2 bases for that. The first one is a collaborative agreement. The idea of this collaborative agreement is to share a document between all the contracts, the 3 contracts here, to share a document that lists the rules, how to manage the interfaces, and how to identify together the issue we may have on these interfaces. The second part of this collaborative sequence, collaborative engineering, is the interface table. What is it? Basically, it's a big spreadsheet that lists all the interface we have on the 3 contracts. The purpose of this table is to identify clearly who is responsible of the data, when it is due, and what will be the final use of this data. Finally, this kind of this engineering sequence is as a target to limit the rework and to have the right data at the right time. Of course, we are talking about collaborative, and the most important part is to talk with people. So basically, we developed a collaborative workspace on Advance Office in Lyon. And the idea here is to have 1 or several representative people working for each contract, working together to deal with any issue we may have on the interfaces. So that collaborative workspace is for the engineering phase, but there is the same system on site for the construction site. The idea here is to deal with the issue as soon as possible and as close as possible we have the issue. We are talking about data here, and one of the most important data we have on civil engineering is the 3D model. On the pool and tanks contract, we are targeting to have a BIM model, basically a model shared by all the stakeholders to limit all the risk we may have to have several information at multiple places. So this shared model is linked with the BIM execution plan. A BIM execution plan it's a document that is written by each contract, and the idea of this document is to write the rules, how they will manage their model, and how they will manage the interfaces with other modelization. So here, the point is to share a validated data and to be more efficient on the configuration management. On peut aller après. We talk here about the interfaces between the contracts, and I will let Michel explain how they manage the interfaces inside a contract with different companies.
Thank you very much, Guillaume. So let's go a little bit more and deeper about this contract, about the pool and tank designer, just to see what it is about. So in fact, in this contract, we have to perform the basic design and the detailed design of all the nuclear pool located inside the reactor building and located inside the fuel building. So it's the entire equipment. So this addresses not only the liners and the associated framework, but also the sluice gates, the doors, the hatches, and the sump. And of course, since we are designing all these equipment, we have a strong interface about anchorage with the other contract. And to design this equipment, we have also to take care about constructibility. So this is the next interface we have with the other contract. So to deliver and to develop all these contracts, we have decided to join capabilities with our partner Tractable, and we have joined capabilities, industrial hardware and software. So we are two contractors, and each of the contractors capitalized on his own capabilities, which are located on different premises. So at the end of the day, let's say that the engineering team is located on 5 or 6 sites, different sites, all located in France, in the France area. So to enable efficient engineering with all this team, all this shared team, we have set up the system which is based on processes, which is based on responsibility with mission, and which is based and it fully relies on an information system which can be reachable from each of the premises. And we have defined a data-centric approach for the projects. So we have a design repository, which is a shared database, which is located inside on-premise our data center. And we capitalize in this database all the technical data, all the methodology, all the technical documents, and all the project management documentation that we have to share to deliver the project. So when we speak about delivering, of course, we have to transfer the deliverable to advance. So for this, we take benefits of the transfers facilities that are provided by the EPR2 projects. So we have a way to transfer and to communicate with the advance team. And the advanced team take care about configuration within the PLM system. Okay? So you see we speak a lot about digital continuity locally inside the NM 1226 contracts, but also at the civil works level with all the 3 different contracts. So as soon as we speak about digital continuity, we have to speak about security. So, of course, data security is just to be able to deliver data, available data. So we have all the facility to store regularly every night all the data and the backup process to recover the data. But more than that, we have to take care about cyber security. And within the EPR2 project, we just received all the requirements that have been drafted by the EPR2 project team. And we have to answer the way we are going to secure and to take care about all the requirements of the project. So these requirements are mainly classified in 3 different steps. There is the first one, which is the physical access. So how people in the team go to the premise. So the physical security. The second one deals with, of course, the information system, and for sure it's the main one. The main topics we have to address are regarding cybersecurity. It's take care about access to the network, of course, but access to the data server, access to the workstation, to the laptop, and even to the printer device. So it's very huge in terms of security. And last but not least, the latest security is at the individual level. Each member of the project team that joins, that is on board on the project, has to sign a commitment about security, about confidentiality, and about to respect all the measures that have been in place by the project. So all these measures are defined in one of the first deliverables that we provide to EPR2 project team, which is named the project security plan. So this formalizes all the measures, the process, the responsibilities, the organization, and the infrastructure that is put in place in the project to answer the safety requirement from EPR2. Let's talk now about resources and workload. So maybe some of you already attended earlier this afternoon to a workshop regarding the program Match, which is a key issue and a key point regarding the GFEN, just to anticipate and to be able to deliver the adequate skill and the adequate level, number of capability to face the huge requirement we have to face all together. So at the level of the contract, the NM 1226, this is the measure that we have put in place. We have a strongly connected and connection between the planning and the planned workload. Of course, to manage the resources, we have to anticipate a lot. So we have to project and to do projection about what capability will be required in the next coming weeks, in the next coming months to deliver the project. So this is the planned workload. Of course, this is associated to the skill matrix. And you know that all the skill capability is one of the key points to be managed within the nuclear safety commitments. So this is one of the tools that we have also in the project. And of course, we have to anticipate. This means that we have to consider that we have to have additional people, additional capability, so by recruitment or by internal mobility. And in such way, we have to be sure that we are going to put at the same level of knowledge on the nuclear safety level all the newcomers in the project. So for this, we have our internal training program, which is managed under the Artelia Academy within the Parcours Nucléaire. And of course, we are also considering a lot all the materials that is provided by the Université des Métiers du Nucléaire that deliver some valuable tools to do this kind of training. When we succeed for all of this, we have additional onboarding process. So the onboarding process for the team is all the phases where we consider to train the new people, the newcomers, the new engineers, the technicians to the team, just for the appropriation about the tools, about the processes, to be sure that we are all working together in the same environment. Lesson learned. So, of course, in all the new nuclear projects, it's a key point to take benefit of the lesson learned from the previous project. So this was strongly considered with EDF during all the process, including and starting at the tender phase. So since the tender phase, we ran several workshops all together, our experts and the experts from EDF, in a very open way, and we share the lesson learned that we get all together on the previous project. So it was mainly regarding Taishan, regarding Flamanville 3, or regarding HPC, we are in Hinkley Point project right now. So we share this lesson learned all together about technical approach, about methods, about nuclear safety requirements, and of course we try to push and to go over standardization. As it was mentioned by Guillaume, it's a key point of the Excel project. So Guillaume, maybe you can illustrate what was the result of standardization for the pools.
Yeah. On the advanced side, it's very important to promote standardization. And for the pool and tank scope, there is two axes we developed regarding that. The first one is sumps, which is basically a type of liner. And the second one is the anchorages, which link the liner to the concrete. And for maybe to go a bit to give some detail regarding the anchorages, there were around like 100 different type of anchorages on previous project for the pool, and on EPR2 we are targeting to have around 20 different type. Finally, it's easier to it simplifies the design. It's easier for the designer, and at the end, the construction will be much easier than it was on previous project.
So thank you. It's a real illustration about the reason of this catalog. A few words about qualification, supplier qualification. As you may know, when we work with EDF, we have to go over the UTO qualification. So it's a process fully managed by EDF. So we have to run to this process during the tender phase and even before. So this process just covers first all the company profile. So we get the audit for this, the company profile, and is strongly focused on technical capabilities. And for this contract, we have to demonstrate our availability and our expertise about the RCCCW, which is the code which is selected for the EPR2 project. And of course, engineering capabilities and mainly the advanced analysis capabilities and expertise that we have. Last but not least, quality management system is also part of the UTO qualification. And speaking about quality management system, of course, we have to move to standardization and to the ISO 19443. So even it's not mandatory and it's not a requirement for the EPR2 program to have the certification, all the content of the ISO applied by the contract, even when we have decided to go for certification in our case. So we ran all the certification process, and we just received 1 month ago, I think, the ISO 19443 certification. So for us, we did this choice just to be sure to demonstrate the capability, and having the certification is more valuable for us. Guillaume, can you come back on project management?
Yeah. It was also important on advanced side to share with our partner some common bases regarding the project management. So you will see highlight like 5 main items. I will focus on 2. The first one is the traceability of decision and action. That's the key point here. We are talking about the discussion we have between Advance and Artelia, but we are also talking about the discussion collaborative with other contracts. It needs to be recorded, obviously. There is several companies in stake. There is Advance, there is a project. So it's required to register everything, decision and action, as close as possible as the decision has been taken. And the second point I want to highlight is risk monitoring. The idea is to share with all the stakeholders the risk we have on different topics. For the pool and tanks, there is several risks shared by Advance with the supplier. And it's a key point to highlight what may be the difficulty in the future to focus on the real point and the differences we may have on previous projects. So now to conclude, it's the beginning of a journey. We developed all that during the tender phase. it may evolve, obviously. For example, we have maybe the possibility to work on BCF Manager, which is a way to communicate through the 3D model. We also have the PLM deployment to involve the suppliers in the data. So evolution is part of the game here. I would say it's now important to work together, to share, to update and to adapt all the processes we have here, if necessary, and of course to achieve the target, which is to deliver the pool and tank designer study on time for the construction, and finally for the success of EPR2 project. Thank you.